So getting the Hemi in the Jeep is, I would say, probably the second most exciting thing, right behind actually firing up a running Hemi in our JL Wrangler. So just seeing it in there already gives you a ton of hope and reassurance that what you're doing is going to be worthwhile. It's been a long time since this Jeep has run, and getting a Hemi in it is going to be a great thing.
Basically, the engine has to be the exact same location it was before, pretty much, within reason. So we're trying to lift up the transfer case to mimic how it would be when it sits in the vehicle.
When I'm done, I'll need a rag to wipe off the bottom of the bell housing.
Is it that bad?
It's a little wet.
Could it be a residual just from moving around?
I'm gonna play that game first.
The transmission might have a small leak in the bell housing on the torque converter. Hopefully not, right, Brendan? Hopefully not. But everything fit together, so the torque converter is in the right spot. Let's pick it back up again. Ready?
Try now.
Put the bolt through.
Yep.
Ready?
Yep.
You're going now. Let's
yeah.
push the bolt through. Give it some more thread.
Okay, go down. Okay. Hey, that looks a lot better.
Weight's off of it.
Now we finally got the engine in, it's placed in, but now here comes the tough part. Figuring out all the little things, where the wire is gonna lay, where things hit or get damaged, where you gotta line all your hoses up. Just gonna take a little time. Okay, we're 1 degree off.
Perfect, cool. Hey, let's check it off of our cardboard list. Justin, take a look at this.
Okay, cut the way to the cardboard.
Okay, we're gonna check this off right here. So today is all about crossing things off of our checklist. Now, personally, I love to make lists just because I need to keep everything organized and in one place. I can't really do it all in my head, and if you can, more kudos to you. But when you're going through a project this big, or basically anything, I do this for Jeep shows, for other things that I have going on, just to make sure I get everything. And if I remember something on the top of my head or on the fly, I can quick jot it down, so that way it doesn't get lost when I'm working on another tedious task. I know I've probably talked about this in previous episodes about the importance of making sure you have a list or at least something to go by, but I completely live by a list or a checklist just to make sure we get everything done and it's the right way. So Brendan right now is actually fishing the factory power steering lines down through where they came. He's doing it very elegantly too. That's one thing he's pretty good at, is not kind of ramrodding it through there. But basically we've got to get all these lines out. The kit includes some new, so what are they, the soft rubber, like a Continental hose?
Yeah.
Basically to connect that steering box over to this electric power steering.
Yeah, it gives you a soft rubber Continental hose for the return line, and then a high pressure with crimped ends for the pressure line.
So that's what you're just doing now?
Yep.
It seems like it's fitting pretty easily through this
Well,
area.
I'm just trying to get the old one out. So you just gotta be a little aggressive.
I don't like it when you're aggressive. Remember that time you did that when we were in Cabo?
We don't talk about Cabo. We don't, remember? I paid you not to talk about
Be careful, it's a brand new alternator, bro. I don't care about the plastic line. So the power steering lines, Dakota Customs actually includes some brand new lines that you have to completely remove your old ones and use theirs. Now, it's a pretty nice setup that they give you. There's some Continental hose with all the correct fittings to run along the bottom there and just basically get them nice and tucked out of the way. A quick run to Ace Hardware also really helped us out when Brendan noticed some insulated hose clamps that bolted right onto our frame where we had to remove 2 bolts in the first place. So, you know, it was about $1.16 or something like that for 2 of them. It's a no-brainer. We like it to look clean and get up and out of the way, not be caught on rocks or caught on anything in the engine, just to get it up nice and tucked out of the way. And that was a quick little feature we could add to make this kit your own. And that's some things you're gonna see also with an engine swap, but there are a lot of ways you can improve the swap and make it yours. So Brendan has a lot of great suggestions. I do as well, and we turn this kit into what Dakota Customs gave us into a kit that's perfect for us, and that's what you'll be able to do too. There was a little bit of power steering fluid that leaked out. Yeah, so basically when you're doing a swap like this, there's gonna be lots of fluids. Brendan, we probably had, what, 10 different types of fluids on the ground at this point?
11, 12, 13.
Yeah,
There's so many.
It's just everything's gonna drain, yeah.
We're gonna let it bleed now.
I think after we're done with this whole thing, we should take it to warranty at Susquehanna just to joke with them and see what they say.
I think we should just do an oil change.
At Susquehanna?
At Susquehanna.
Oh, that would be funny.
Yes.
You know what the issue would be? They'd probably give us like the
We'd probably put 6 quarts in here instead of the full. What does it take?
I think 7 or 8.
It was 7. It was 7.
Oh, sorry.
7. How are you gonna get? Will they wrap around the rubber hose?
You bend them a little bit. We'll go on there. Pretty cool idea, huh?
That's a decent idea.
Thanks.
You want to tighten these down a while?
No.
You want to torque down. You want to tighten the engine mounts.
We can do that while it's up there too.
We're gonna see if we can make these work, Brendan. This is what we got available. What's wrong?
Oh, the transfer case lever is stuck right here. Look.
On the tunnel. Hard.
So I gotta get this off again one more time.
So a little issue we had with the transfer case is while it was sitting on the ground, it somehow got shifted into another gear. I believe it was either 4 low or 4 high. When we went to put it back in the Jeep, the selector inside our Jeep was in neutral and the transfer case was in a different location, so putting back all the linkage wasn't lining up. So we actually had to change that back, put it in neutral, and make it all work. We were kind of freaking out there for a second because nothing was lining up, and we thought maybe it was pushed back a little bit different, or because of the engine it wasn't fitting the right way. However, it was. We just had a little bit of a hiccup there until we got it to work.
Yeah, where all this linkage is hitting all this heat shield, we'll have to get some aluminum foil just to tape it up.
Okay.
Extension. And you got my ratchet?
Yep, the 1/2 inch.
Yep. Does that work, pulling the one out?
Yeah. Look, they're all perfectly tight now. Move this trans, it ain't going nowhere, dude.
It's not going anywhere.
So basically we use the paint marker here. This is something Brendan actually showed me. He does it a lot with his race cars. And after you tighten something down, it's just a really good way to see if the bolt or nut or anything like that has any sort of movement. Plus it lets us know that it's tight too. What did I say these were, the transmission bell housing, whatever? Well, it's going into an adapter.
And then this goes like that. See?
No shit. Are those the right bolts?
Yeah.
Did we buy those?
Yeah.
Those are the ones she charged me like $8 a piece for. Remember the lady at Ace?
Yeah. Look, guys, it's driving. I can figure out the link for that.
You're gonna do it right now so I can check off the starter?
Well, let me look at it for a bit, okay?
Or I can extend the piece.
Don't break the starter.
I barely had any pressure on it.
So the hardest part of the starter wasn't exactly bolting it up, but it was connecting the wiring harness that had to be clipped on. The wire just was not bending the way we wanted it to, so it ended up taking us right around an hour to plug in a simple electrical connection that should have taken about 2 seconds. It wasn't bending the right way and it wasn't clipping in at all. We had, angled needle nose pliers. We're up there, we're messing around with it for at least an hour until you get frustrated. Brendan comes in, tries to do it. I came back in. Some things like that will bug the living crap out of you because they should be so simple. It's just a 2-plug connection and it won't go in. So we had to fight with that. It probably took us 2 hours. I'm not even gonna lie. Little things like that can really hold you up when you're doing a build like this.
What do you mean you forgot the crank bolt?
Take the crank bolt off.
Oh yeah. Wait, just pull the pins. Just pull the pins.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's the only way it comes out.
They can stay though in there, don't they?
What's up?
They stay in there.
Great. You have to pull all the pins to get the assembly out.
Okay, now we're gonna pull it out with hopes and dreams. Charger Challenger versus truck.
Thicker, thinner.
Thicker, a lot thinner. Works, doesn't work.
High performance, low performance.
This is gonna add probably 100 horsepower.
200.
Easily.
Yeah.
Let's get it on.
So we actually had to replace the last remaining item from the Dodge Ram front accessory drives, and that was the harmonic balancer. We bolted all the accessories up, got everything lined up, and then I'm looking at it from a side profile, and the harmonic balancer has a spacer on the Dodge Ram, and it pops it out about an inch too far. So the last piece we thought we could use, we spray painted it, made it nice and clean, pressed it on there, we couldn't use. So we had to get the pulley puller out, rip that off, order another harmonic balancer for the Dodge Charger / Challenger. And the issue with the Ram was it was too wide, so the Charger actually comes in about another inch, which was perfect for application. It just kind of stank that we had to remove the only piece that was left from the Ram and spend a little bit more money to get a new balancer, but it worked. So it all worked, and now everything on the front end is brand new, torqued down, which is a really cool thing when you think about it. It's pretty much a brand new engine. It was already a 2018, so now we just refreshed that whole front end at the same time.
Bram, 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 bram.
Account check on the amount of times Brendan says to a point.
He does say a lot. You know, it's a way to avoid answering questions.
Correct? Yeah. I just say you're kind of right.
It's kind of a way to say like,
you're kind of right.
Yeah, you're right. You're maybe a little bit right, but you're still wrong in my eyes. So to a point?
To a point.
Yeah.
I mean, to a point, we're gonna get these tightened.
So the last thing we had to do to kind of button up all the accessories on the front end of the engine was to install the Serpentine belt. Now, Brendan and I, we've both done this. Brendan has more experience, so we kind of knew how much engagement it had to have on some of the pulleys and what it should look like when it's done. However, we didn't know exactly what it would look like. So a quick Google search helped us out. We found a picture of it and could actually do it, and it all seemed to make sense. It was a lot of kind of twisting, but that's what you're gonna run into when you're doing an engine swap. You're not gonna know everything right off the top of your head. And that's why I've got to stress in this day and age, Google, online forums, those are some great tools. So don't be embarrassed or ashamed to have to take a minute, go online and see what someone else did. But when you do that, always verify that they did the right thing and didn't end up running into issues later. Just make sure it looks good, and if it works, you know, perfect. You just save yourself a couple hours of sitting there and possibly doing it the wrong way by letting someone else go through the struggle and help you learn.
Hey,
Dude.
hey,
Look at it!
we're our big
Hey,
kid
high five,
now.
high five. That's a good high five.
It was.
Dude,
That was majestic.
dude, look. Now we're making horsepowers.
Can't even reach.
Okay, I'm not as tall. Very good. We've all discovered that fact. Took like a really long time to actually figure out that I wasn't as tall as other people. So I'm kind of impressed that everyone here at my work has done that.
Wow.
Yeah, it takes some high IQ to get that. I'll use this stool. I don't give a f. I'm not proud. Fine, look at that. Wow, I can access it a lot easier. If I was 75 feet tall, I could probably do the same thing. O2 sensor, we gotta fix that one.
O2 sensor, what's wrong
Remember the
with
one you snapped when you're pulling it off? That sounded good.
it? Don't worry about that. That was nothing.
Do we need it?
We'll figure that out later. Oh, I just broke the safety clip off of it, that's all.
I do want to give Dakota Customs a shout out for all the research and engineering that went into a kit like this. It takes a ton of man hours, and basically you're the first one to do it. There's no one else doing JL Hemi swaps. You can't search a forum, go down to your local auto parts store and find parts for this. You are the first person in line. You're the first person to test all of this. And in order for them to do that, they had to take, you know, a lot of time, a lot of Jeeps, Hemis, all that stuff. And a lot of the stuff works really great. I'm surprised we had the billet adapters, the engine mounts, all that fun stuff that just plugs right in and it works. So I've got to get a huge shout out. That saves us plenty of time. And I don't know if we could do this on our own without their kit.
So the next step of this part of the build is we have to get the gas tank back in. We have to modify the fuel pump for more fuel pressure for this big old engine. We're gonna work on the cooling system, getting all the cooling lines figured out, put the radiator back in. Then the big one is working with the wiring, figuring out where the ECU is gonna go. That's gonna take up some time, so we'll get to it.
I gotta check engine
Yeah,
light on.
the
I wonder what the issue is. I'm just fucking with
Go
you.
ahead.
Ready?
Yeah.